Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is February 15th and this is my weekly shop update. So the big news this week is the sofa table is totally done. It's out of the shop and it is up in the house. So let's head off to the house, check in with our field correspondent and take a look at the completed project. So here is the completed table and I'm super happy with the way this thing turned out. I'm really happy with my selections for the grain for all the different parts. I think they all play really nicely together. I have a decent amount of crotch figure, which I like, of course, but I don't think I went too overboard, especially in the top. I just have this one fairly simple piece of crotch, and then I have some curly grain on that end. And I think that ended up being really nice with my inlay detail because I didn't want the top to be too busy. So I didn't go with a super busy, crotch pattern for the top because I wanted it to be somewhat clean still. And the lower shelf is really plain, which is what I was going for because I wanted to not detract from the rest of the table. I wanted the focus to be the top and the drawer front. And the drawer front turned out awesome. I'm so happy with this thing. Sometimes you take a little bit of a risk with things, but I think that it plays nicely off of the crotch figure of the tabletop. So super happy that I went with that crazy board for my drawer front. This week in the shop, obviously I finished up the tabletop and I guess the finish on the tabletop and attach the tabletop and all that stuff. So let's take a look at some of that. So not a whole lot to say here other than look at that just pop, just awesome. So I went with 4 coats of General Finishes Armor Seal semi-gloss for this, and I sanded between each coat with 600 grit sandpaper. So with the finish applied, I can attach the top. I marked the hole locations with a brad point bit and then drilled into the top with the drill bit, which is very scary. And then I can screw the top to the subtop with these brass screws, and since there's not a whole lot of space in there, I use a ratchet with a 1/4 inch socket. And then I can drill the hole for the pull on the drawer front, attach that pull, and then wax the drawer opening and the drawer bottom. There we go. And then the table's done. So I'm really happy with the way the table turned out, if you couldn't already notice. And for those of you who have already purchased that class through the Wood Whisperer Guild, those videos will start going out on Friday. And if you haven't purchased it already and you'd like to, you have a little bit of time left to get it as part of the early bird bundle, where you get the sofa table project as well as 2 other projects for half off the total overall if you bought it separately price. So enough about the sofa table. Let's get into the viewer projects. This first project is from Guillaume. This is a great little coffee table. Guillaume is a 15-year-old woodworker from Belgium. He has a YouTube channel. You can check that out. What I really like about this little table is the angle, of course. It has some really nice angle joinery going on there. So, of course, I like that. So check out Guillaume's YouTube channel and check out the video for making that table. This next project is a bar stool from Jack, and he said that this was the first time he tried a few things, such as using a biscuit cutter along with angled Morrison tenon joints. He made it out of some pieces of ash that he found laying around in his granddad's workshop, and he decided to make the stool out of that. Jack has a YouTube video about making this stool, and I have a link to that in the description as well. This next project is coincidentally a sofa table from Chuck. He says, "Hi Matt, you inspired me to make this table out of walnut and maple. Bird's eye maple drawer front and maple sides with a walnut and hard maple top. Use 6 coats of wipe-on poly for that." He says he tapered the walnut leg slightly and he can't do dovetails yet, so he decided to do box joints instead on the drawer. That's fine with me. This is a no judgment zone. Awesome work, Chuck. Thanks for sharing that with us. This last project is from Zach. This is a double Maloof inspired rocker. This was a commission piece that he made out of sinker mahogany. So if you haven't heard of this whole sinker log thing, that's actually from back when loggers used to cut trees down upstream from a sawmill that used a river to float logs down to the mill. And occasionally, some of these logs actually sink to the bottom of the river and be lost. So what people are doing now is going out, finding these logs on the bottom of the river or wherever there might be a pond or something, and actually floating them back up to the surface and then cutting them into lumber. The wood is still solid because it's been underwater, and the wood actually tends to have a much deeper, richer feel to it, I guess because of the minerals in the water or something like that. So really great viewer projects this week. As always, if you want to have your project featured here on the show, you can send me an email with your pictures and a description of your project, and I'll add it to my list. So this past Saturday, I went to the Midwest Tool Collectors Association's meetup in Medina, Minnesota, which is just outside of Minneapolis here. I went last year, didn't buy anything. This year I went and I picked up this set of really tiny little dividers. These little guys right here. I figured I use dividers quite a bit in my work, and these are kind of cool and small and fun looking, so I picked these up for $3. I think that was a pretty good purchase. If you have something like this near you, if you're in the Midwest, you can check out the MWTCI's website and see if they're going to have a meetup in your area. And I'm not sure, but I would assume that there are other organizations like this throughout the country, and I'm sure throughout the world. And you can go and you can pick up all kinds of stuff there. They had mostly all antique hand tools for woodworking, but there were also a lot of other type of hand tools like machinist tools and mechanic tools as well. So definitely a good opportunity to pick up some really awesome vintage tools if you're into that sort of thing. And of course, you can meet a lot of great people because it's not just the meets, there are other events as well. So a quick reminder, I'll be having my live Ask Matt this Saturday, February 20th at noon Central Time. That is a live event where you can stop in, ask me any questions you want, and I will answer them live. I know, right? Pretty exciting. Of course, if you can't make it, I will take pre-submitted questions. You can email those to me, or you can leave them down in the comments below. Just let me know that it's a question for the live Q&A. So I think that's about all I have for this week. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today or anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I appreciate those, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking. And I'll see you Saturday.